This is the story of how I made Liorna. Let me take you to the start.
Till the morning, that old music gets me going. Say, hey, yeah, I'm gonna rock it tonight. Guitar
solo. This is going to be the model that I am working with. The leg did snap off, which is really unfortunate, and there is a really bad seam on the back, which I will need to fill in with clay and then sand down. This model is in pretty rough condition. I got it during the Peter Stone event at the body sale. This project will be a very big challenge for me, as this is only my second custom I've ever done, and I've never had to do repair work before. It will definitely be a challenge, but I'm ready for it. Now it's time to add some clay. What I'm doing here is just trying to cover this seam. I attached the leg earlier with some super glue. Now all I have to do is cover that seam. I'm going in with some air dry clay, trying to smooth it down as much as possible. Later I will sand it down so it won't be as noticeable. I'd like to say right off the bat that I am not a professional. If you are trying to customize a model, I would not follow this as a tutorial. I'm also starting this project on Tuesday, and I have a show that I'm going to on Saturday, so let's see if I can get this finished. Time to get started on this back seam. With that all finished up, I have to give it about 12 to 16 hours to dry. So I will see you guys tomorrow. It is the next morning and the model is dry. So now it's time to grab the sandpaper and hand sand this entire thing. This was such a long and messy process. Trying to get a good angle to sand this at was very hard. So at some point I end up taking it off camera and doing it that way. So now I am priming the horse, which in hindsight I should have spent a little more time making sure that I had sanded all the seams down a little bit better and just checked it over and made sure there was nothing I would have to go back and do. because at some point I do have to go back and sand some areas down after I had already started painting. It was a bit of a disaster, as you will see, but at this point I am using my primer and paint spray that I have. My neighbor did walk by and give me a really weird look. So at this point, I do go back and do another round of sanding and priming, but we're gonna skip that and I'm gonna show you guys the design process. Even though you've already seen the final look, I want to show you a little bit of the process.
I had the world to give you, baby. I don't even have the time to tell you bedtime stories or to chase away the monsters from your mind. You know, I can only give you what I have. I'm sorry I was late today. I didn't get to see you dance the waltz, spinning around the living room all dressed up in your mother's clothes. Oh, you know I love her even when we fight. Nothing left to get back home.
Something fun about this project is that I am editing it as I go, so I don't even know what the final horse is going to look like, if it'll even look good. It's scary doing something that I don't even know if I'm capable of doing. Whether this project turns out good or bad, it is still going on the internet for everybody to see. I can be proud of the work I've done, from the prepping to the sanding to the painting, even the video editing. I put my all into this project, but there's always that fear that it just won't be good enough. This project has pushed me in so many creative directions, so at the end of the day, it was all worth it. Right now, I am painting a layer of white acrylic. This will be the layer between the primer and the pastels.
Scattered lips, arms and pebbles, sinking slowly as the mud at the bottom of the ocean. We're all light and emotion, drifting without a sound.
I know that this may not look like the typical process for a custom, but my black pastels don't build up to be super dark, so I wanted to try to put a layer of black underneath where those pastels would go. I end up doing this on all four legs as well as the mane, tail, and forelock, but at the end of the day, as you will see, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. The mane and tail are typically done last, but because I already had the paint out, I wanted to go ahead and set up a good base for that darker gray that I'd like to do for the hair. I do go in with a finer tipped brush so I can get the end of the mane.
Upon a shallow part of the dreams, late in the morning, smell of coffee and a silent feeling.
I'm at the point where it's time to start bringing those pastels in, so I go in with a black pastel and start to blend up the legs.
Drowning in each other's arms. Me and
So it may look like I jumped ahead a lot, which I kinda did, but it was very hard to record this process, but don't worry, I found a way to do it. This was just the left side, so I haven't even touched the right side yet, which you can see how bad it looks because the model did fall into the pastel and got a little messed up. So it's time to blend that all out and start on this side.
get back home too. So take the first bus in the station. Everywhere is nowhere to.
I know it may look a bit messy, but this is a trust the process type of project. So as you can see, the black at the bottom of the legs is starting to slowly be blended out, and I'm kind of going all around the model, but trying to stick to the one side. So all these colors, I'm using black, gray, and white. The white does get a bit muddy. I will be putting a matte varnish on this and starting to build on top of that varnish instead of more pastel. So this part is just a lot of blending. It is adding colors, removing colors, and trying to make sure everything blends together very nicely. It is so satisfying to watch all these colors come together so well compared to what the model looked like beforehand and how it looks now. I started on the face a little bit, but decided that I was going to save it for last because I continued to hold on to it, and I knew if I put any material down, I would just continue to mess it up. Something you may see me doing quite frequently is going over the darker areas with that white. I found that the white makes it very easy to blend that paint with the rest of the leg and then go over it with black. After blending all this out, it does get to a point where the colors will stop building, so I had to stop and do a layer of matte sealant so that I can start to build on top of that.
Till we hit the ground.
work off camera and I just added a second layer of pastels. And as you can see right here, there isn't white because it kept on blending in. And then I also realized there were these teeny tiny holes on the back and have to fill those. So I'll have to sand that down eventually. So I decided to just go ahead and move on to the face while I wait for that to dry, which was a bad idea because I ended up getting little white spots everywhere.
Time to realize. Now I'm holding on. My arms are wrapped around you, and the spirits are so high. Can't let this die. It's not what people say. It's more what they.
As you can see, I'm leaving little white marks. There's one right there on the stomach. And I tried to cover them up, and then I got annoyed, so then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna move back to the face because I have to sand down the back anyway, and it's probably gonna cause more problems. But that's for a future me. So at this point in time, I kind of make the decision that it is probably best if I put the model down. So I take a little break here. It's been a couple hours and that has dried, so now it's time to sand it down, which will result in more work, but it's okay because I'd rather have a horse with no holes in its back and a little extra work. At this point, I've only got 24 hours left to work on this project before I start traveling for the show. It definitely is scary going back and doing this because this could have been done a day ago, but this is what happens when you rush things, so it's important to take your time and make sure that you have all your bases covered, even though you may be excited to move on to the next step. As you can see, I've been working a lot off camera to bring back those white markings, and I also have started to work on the face for real this time. So I'm bringing that white back into the face, I brought it back in the body, and I am really working on that shading, so once I get to the dapples, I won't have to worry about what the base looks like. And speaking of dapples, I decided I wanted to do a little test patch, but that ended up just kind of going all over the body. With these dapples, they were a bit too small and not blended out enough, so I did end up reshading and then going back and doing some bigger dapples and trying to blend them out just a little bit better. And what I end up doing is making the dapples super, super, super white and then going back in with those grays and whites and blending everything out on top, just to make it so those dapples are a little more subtle, but obviously still there. details are definitely hard to get right, and I don't even know if I got them right. I'm hoping I did. I think it looks good, but I don't really know. I might have made them too subtle. They look really good on camera, but then in person, they're a little lacking. Now it's time to start adding in those details that will pull the entire model together. So I'm starting on the tail. I have the darker at the top and then I blend down. I originally used a brown and then cream, but ended up going in with gray. So it goes from dark gray to a lighter gray to the cream color.
We've been alone for a while. Me and my heart, we're tired. As long as you're away from us, we're just living in the past. As long as you're away from us, I'm captive in my heart. And there's a good chance we won't survive. What have we done to us? What made the curtains fall? Now I can only say the show must go on. As long as you're away from us, I'm captive in my heart. And there's a good chance we won't survive. We've been alone for a while. Me and my heart, we're tired. Now I can only say the show must go on.
This project taught me so many things: perseverance, overcoming doubt, and believing in myself. Not only did my work win overall in the Custom Mini Light division, she won overall reserve in the Custom Mini division. I went into the show happy that I even finished this project, only wanting a ribbon, whether it be first or sixth. I could not be more proud of myself in this journey. What started as a crazy idea 4 days before a show turned into one of my proudest moments. This video has been my encouragement for the last couple of days. It's different from anything else I've ever done, and I'm so proud to be sharing it with you guys. There were many ups and downs, but at the end of the day, I have something that I can be proud of. So I want you all to officially meet Liorna, the start of a long journey.